Welcome back to my channel, Fazbear's Menagerie of Madness, where I'll explore the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's and I hope in a new and unique interpretation of events. It has been almost a year since the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie has been released, and I've been diving into the lore to get a better idea as to what was happening. The main focus for this episode is the story of Vanessa, daughter of William Afton, and protector of Mike and Abby. For this video I'll focus mostly on the official book as it contains variations to what was seen on screen, and more importantly, I think, contains the lore that was sometimes lacking. One piece of information we get about Vanessa's early life comes in the form of a photograph she carries around with her. While in the movie, this photograph shows Vanessa and the yellow rabbit, Spring Bonnie, the novel has a different picture. In the photo, a little girl with streaked blonde hair stood in front of the bright and shiny Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. A screaming yellow grand opening banner fluttered from the eaves of the building. Beneath the banner, all four animatronics were crouched down on one knee, surrounding the little girl like they were one big happy family. The girl grinned from ear to ear, and in her hand she held Garrett's orange toy airplane. The differences changed the focus from Vanessa and Spring Bonnie to that of the other animatronics. We would hear from Vanessa in the final act that William was her father, although the novel's photos focus our attention on a stronger connection with the animatronics. This was an important point about Vanessa's childhood. She has a strong connection with them. The adult Vanessa in the novel clearly shows signs of being an animatronic herself. There is an ongoing reference to her eye colour becoming lighter in some parts of her conversation with Mike, while darker in others. With William being her father, Vanessa being Elizabeth is obvious, although canonically, Elizabeth was scooped by a circus baby when she was just a little girl, so how is this possible? Animatronics that pass as humans aren't unknown to us, as Henry built Charlie to allow her daughter's spirit to live on through the machine. Even if the Charlie animatronic was unaware, Charlotte was connected to her via the Elidol. As Henry was friends with William, then it could be likely that Henry built Vanessa for William. As Charlotte had died outside the diner, Henry did not know who committed the act. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, Elizabeth went missing. William couldn't admit that one of his creations had resulted in her death, so I suspect William would declare publicly she went missing and likely had been taken during the confusion of Ballora going missing. See the events of Fazbear Fright's story Dance With Me for that. So if both daughters had departed their families, Henry could offer the same solution to William he found for himself. Build an animatronic and let the spirit use it. While Henry was unaware that Puppet was the location of Charlotte's soul, the Elidol was keeping the connection between spirit and animatronic alive. For William, he would need to use the same method, which is why I theorized that Elizabeth could keep the connection with Elizabeth using a doll of her own, while she was in the Circus Baby animatronic, just like Charlotte was doing for the puppet. Vanessa would need an illusion disc to pass as human. Mike thought that her perfume smelled like a field of flowers, a connection that seemed likely as Elizabeth was very much fond of flowers. Vanessa was able to let herself into the restaurant following the break-in, likely with a key provided by her father, William. One of the stronger character traits Vanessa gives off was her anger to Mike at bringing Abby to the restaurant. If Elizabeth was controlling Vanessa, then this anger could have a deeper meaning when she opposed her father at the end of the movie. One of the parallels between the Schmidt and Afton families could be the order of the children. We learn that Mike Schmidt had a younger brother. Once Garrett was taken, his mother became more distant to the family. She became pregnant with a third child and her mood changed for the better. That was until the daughter was born and her distant self returned. Mike's father abandoned the family and Mike's mother took her own life, thereby leaving Mike to raise her sister Abby alone. The Afton family structure could be similar, with Elizabeth making that connection. Older brother Mike Afton became overprotective of his younger brother Evan following his injuries with the bite of 83. If Elizabeth was the youngest of the Afton children, Elizabeth would need to stay with her always busy father, which is why she was at the Circus Baby's restaurant and not with her brothers. With a busy father and an absent mother, Elizabeth could only see the parallels between herself and Abby. But we can also take this further as Elizabeth became more protective of Abby. What is it you're so afraid of? Do whatever you want with your life, Elizabeth flung at Mike, but if you ever bring Abby back here... The quote came from chapter 19. following Abby's attempted electrocution from using Bonnie's guitar. Abby almost died, but I don't think that event was an accident. Such an action would work towards the blonde-haired boy's plan to have Abby join the other children. I suspect the electrocution was intended. Vanessa's protective nature seems to extend beyond just keeping Abby away from the restaurant for her safety. It almost seems to look like Vanessa expected wrongdoings to happen. Vanessa was able to walk around the restaurant, play with the animatronics without fear, but Abby was singled out. Vanessa seemed to know more. Which leads to William's involvement. William is clearly not happy with the animatronics, treating them like animals, but not the blonde-haired boy. At the end of the movie, this boy closed the door on and trapped William Afton, getting the better of him. A force not to be challenged with. This spirit brought Abby to the restaurant in the form of Golden Freddy. The core animatronics seemed to follow this spirit. The electrocution could have been intended. So what if the spirit had crossed paths with William in the past? What if Elizabeth was intended to join the core group of spirits, not through William's actions, but the blonde-haired boy's? William's attitude to the animatronics is one of disgust. Although if they are the victims of his actions, why carry such hate for them? Because I suspect William had made a deal with the blonde-haired boy in exchange for his daughter's soul. The blonde-haired boy, connected with Golden Freddy, has his own agenda throughout the movie. Vanessa's understanding of what is happening to Abby makes more sense if Elizabeth had faced a similar event in the past. That's why I think Garrett is involved. William took Garrett and delivered him to the restaurant. I suspect Garrett took the place of Elizabeth with the spirit children. Garrett became the friend the animatronics wanted, leaving Elizabeth with her father. His toy was left with Elizabeth when Garrett couldn't play with it anymore. Elizabeth would be left alone to live through Vanessa, where she would become a medical EMT, then later a police deputy. William would continue to send desperate people to the restaurant in the role of security guard and possibly to their death. This could be an ongoing arrangement, perhaps. Vanessa would be stabbed by William for resisting his plans to deliver Mike. Had Vanessa been just another animatronic to William, then he wasn't hurting his daughter, only the piece of machinery she controlled. Vanessa would end up in the hospital in a coma with no signs of waking. This parallel is similar to the fourth closet, where Elizabeth, in Charlie's adult form, would get stabbed by the endo with a knife. She would likely lose that body and go back to controlling the circus baby animatronic. This is likely why Vanessa is unresponsive. The connection with Elizabeth was lost. By the end, Mike feels some closure as well as a drive that Garrett could still be out there. Abby gets to walk away and live her life, now renewed with the appreciation for her brother. Elizabeth is back to the point of view of the circus baby inside the concrete walls of the rental facility. The vengeful spirit would accept William's agony in the place of another child's soul. And in the Five Nights at Freddy's, we question who is really the victim in this story. Thanks for staying with me till the end. To find out when new videos become available, subscribe for future content.